Okay, let's see. I've got a microphone, I've got a computer, and I've got a camera. Hi, welcome to the 52 Miniatures number 4. Hello, Martin. Glad to see you here. Marcus. And this is confusing, I've got a computer screen over there and a computer screen over here. Hello, Kyle, Kanoshi, Tyler, Cyborg Sloth, is and Leif, Devs and Dice, hello. Cyborg Sloth, were you responsible for Lenny the frog? I can't remember. Fredrik, hey. Doggy Monster, hey from Scotland, hey from Stockholm. Thomas Lundström, hello. And Phil, made it. Glad to see you. Tyler, how's that coffee cup floating in the air? Can't see me with the camera. I know. Pretty spectacular, isn't it? All adding to the bunker vibes down here. Is, or the vault, I guess. Cyborg Sloth did the Lenny Squad hashtag. Excellent. Hopefully Lenny is here with us today, as you can see, with his pals. Yeah. Good morning, Charles from NC, New York City, or is there anywhere else with NC? Yeah. Colvin, hello. Ernst, good afternoon. Marcus, coming from a rainy, I was going to say New South Wales, USA. Makes sense. New South Wales is in Australia, I believe. But yeah, North Carolina, maybe. Yeah. Sorry. Hello, Mark from Montana. Glad to see you, Mark. And fun to see you got your Chimera paints. I hope you enjoy them. Got a sunny day here as well in Stockholm, not in the bunker. The sun never shines in the bunker. That's the point of having a bunker. But last time I looked outside, there was sunshine, which is nice. I guess for those who get to be outside in it. Hello, the Neon Caster. Nuno from Azores. Where's that? Chuck, hello, welcome. I'm glad you found me live as well. Halloween Crab from Canada. Hi. Is it Chow from Portugal, or did I pronounce that correctly? Vladimir, welcome. Christopher Jones from South Africa, welcome. You're the background to me packing up my house to move. I think you can relate. Yes, I can definitely relate. I moved house a week ago. Exactly, Sunday last week. So my life the past week has been trying to figure out, you know, in which one of my, all the zillions of boxes is my son's clothing, and why in one of the zillions of boxes is there like a banana that I can't find, only smell. But it's actually, I've unpacked most of them by now, which is a bit of a feat. But that also means that I haven't really done any work, and I haven't really been doing much work on videos either. Mainly unpacking and drilling holes in walls. So So that's, I mean, I figured I'm going to try and do this live thing as regularly as possible, sort of stealing Uncle Adam's not every other Sunday kind of a thing. But yeah, and a special reason today for a live stream is because I would have liked to have a video up the past week, and my head was in a box, and not really sure if I can get one out the coming week either, because probably my head will be in a box looking for bananas. But we'll see. I'm working on stuff. I've been painting dragons all day today. It's just that there's two of them and they're big. So yeah. You might be wondering, how long is he going to sit like that with his cup, like floating in air, and not really drink? Which is, I'm starting to wonder myself why I'm not just drinking some tea and putting the cup down, which is, I think, what I'm about to do just right now. Hello, Luke. Welcome. I was actually had a spontaneous idea that I was going to call you today and have you on the chat, on the live show, because I have MDF questions, which is a really simple question, but I figured you're my MDF guru. That's Luke from Geek Gaming Scenics. My question is, should I treat it with something before I paint it? And I know you're going to say buy my sealant, Geek Gaming Scenics sealant, which is great. Everyone should do that. But do I really need to? Or is like rattle cans enough? Yeah, just prime it. Thanks. That's what I was hoping for. Luke says, just prime it, which is excellent. Chris, good morning from Nicaragua. And Nuno's in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, which is, I hope you're in a boat. No, I know you answered my question of where, yeah, just trying to be funny. Mark from Montana says Chimera paints are different, and I need a shaker or my arm is going to fall off. Yeah, it's the first time I seriously considered buying one of those vortex mixer things just because of the Chimera paints, and I still haven't. If anyone from the vortex mixer company Duda is watching, please go ahead and send me one of your mixers. Thank you, pretty please. Aaron Scrit says, good day, really liking the live thing. I'm glad you're liking the live thing. I'm liking the live thing as well. I'm just still doing it with a cup again. I'm still kind of amazed at the fact that so many of you want to spend a bit of your time with me, which is just happy for it that you're enjoying the live stream. Paul Suber, greetings from Germany to my favorite Scandinavian mini painter. Well, greetings. I don't know tons of Scandinavian mini painters, honestly. A couple. There's one in the chat here today, Leif from Devs and Dice, which is a lovely channel that you should check out. Okay, I'm reading my own reactions to your reactions to my silliness with the cup, which is yeah. The chat is going up and down and back and forward, so I'm confused. So I'll just sit here with a cup for a while and look at the screen. Konashi says, I see you have your recent diorama on your desk. Very enjoyable video and a lovely paint job. Yes, Thank you. I had a lot of fun with this thing. But man, did it take a lot of time. Kind of, I guess. Should be able to put it in the camera somewhere. I don't think I've got proper lights because the lights are up top and the camera's a bit dark. We can fix that. But there it is. And it's out of focus too. When's the focus? Here we are. Livestream Pro. This was fun, but also a lot of work. Fun work, actually. Sometimes, when you do projects and they never end, they can start, at least me, they can sort of start to bug me out a little bit because it just feels like it goes on and on and on. This was a long project, but it was never bugging me out, which was nice. And I spent a lot of time on it, but I was still just having fun all the time. And so I'm glad I got the opportunity to spend like 3 weeks on doing something that's just sitting here on my desk looking pretty. Devs and Dice says, my head is in a box searching for bananas. These things happen when one's moving. Chuck Namara says, I watched your Stargrave chats a few days ago and I played a game last night without captains or first mates. My group very much prefers that playstyle, so thank you for the idea. Cool. I'm glad to hear you got to play some Stargrave. I'm still very much looking forward to my second round of Stargrave. It's been a lot with the move, and it's not just first you have to pack the banana in the box, and then you have to pack lots of other boxes with everything just so that you can hide the it's like, where's the banana? And that takes a while, a couple of weeks, and then you have to clean the place, at least the way I did it, and then you have to move, and then it's like, where's the banana? It's not, it's been a month pretty much of packing bananas and unpacking bananas. So, I'm just, another week or something like that, and hopefully I can just get back to a little bit more normal, which is painting more minis. I have got my painting desk set up at home now. I just need to I have no chair, I have no paints, I've got no brushes, there's no minis, but the desk is there. It's nice and shiny. Howdy, Dwight from Texas. BCL, hello from sunny London. Marcus says, PSA, don't forget to say hi to your mum today. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's Mother's Day here in Sweden. It's a funny thing. One would have thought that, for simplicity's sake, we could have like Mother's Day on the same day. But considering the fact that we can't even decide on which day to celebrate Christmas, which, and stuff like that, then I guess it would be too much to ask for with the Mother's Day thing. But anyone who is in the US, I guess, where Marcus is, say hi to your mum for me. Hello, Nobet. Honestly, is asking me, what lens have you got on your A7? It's a good question. It's a it says Carl Zeiss on it. I think it's a 50mm lens. Should be. Yeah. It's one of those all manual ones. It's usually what I shoot when I film sort of the miniature painting bit in the videos, but then I don't stick it on that camera. It sticks to that camera normally. It's nice and like neutral, so I like it. The colors on what I've got in front of me sort of end up looking pretty much the same when they travel in through the lens and go into the camera. So I like it because of that. It would be nice if it was a bit more a bit more of a macro thing going, I guess. But it isn't. Okay, back to the chat. Christopher Jones says, I primed my MDF terrain with a watered-down mixture of paint, wood glue, and baking soda. Cool, to get some sort of textures and stuff. That's fun. I've made some of my own textures. I don't know if you can sort of see. Been doing bricks and stuff like that. And then I'm probably gonna put like something on top of it so it looks like, when the plaster cracks and there's bricks underneath, and I don't know, we'll see. It's still it's been like a year since I got all this MDF terrain, and I've assembled a few, but there's still plenty to go. Luke says, I'm not gonna ring you up for tea drinking tips. I'm sure you'd be well equipped yourself drinking tea. It was fun to see, by the way, Luke, if you're still there. I saw on the Instagrams and that you hanging out with the other famous YouTubers, which looked like fun. I'm glad you got to meet up with a few other creators. I hope you had fun. Anyway, hello, Solaris. Welcome. Mr. Kiwi 87 asked me, how do you find the difference between scripted videos versus live? Well, it's just completely different. One thing is here, I'm still trying to get over the fact that I'm just sitting here staring into a camera, kind of speaking, hoping that there's someone on the other end actually listening. And this is not all just like a Matrix kind of a thing where you're all just bots in a chat and none of you exist. And I'm in a bunker staring into a camera with like a blue light, and it's weird. Whereas like writing scripts and filming stuff, that just feels like I'm making a little video. This is a lot weirder, but fun. BCL27, what's your paint color suggestions for creating old gold? Multiple paints or a good single metallic? Well, I don't know. I'm terrible at metallics, so I'm the wrong person to ask about metallic paints. When you say old, does that mean it's supposed to be stained, or is it like old? What's old? Tarnished, varnished, tarnished or varnished. That's the opposite. Mark from Montana is asking if vortex mixes are durable. So please help Mark out, and I'm sure there's a few of you there with vortex mixes, I hope. Hello, Iki Yusen from Argentina. Love your videos. I'm glad to hear it. Marcus says I should have a sponsor logo on the mug. Yeah, or I could be smart and have like my own logo or something. Yeah, but I find this more enjoyable. I think now I can start buying tea mugs, like deductible on my business, because I use them as props in videos. So then I can start collecting fun cups. Jason Jones says hello from Western Australia. Hello. What's the time in Western Australia? Wouldn't that be way off? Midnight? Chris, what's your favorite way to brew coffee? Is asking me. My favorite way to brew coffee would be going into somewhere where they have a proper machine and say, an Americano, please. That's my favorite way of brewing coffee. Otherwise, we use in Sweden, we've got these, you have a little holder with the paper thing in, and you pour boiling water on it, and it sort of drips out. That's usually how I make coffee at home. Hello, Grabker. Norbert says, looks amazing. What do you think about adding LED lights to the next project like this? You mean like this one? I don't know. I enjoyed the challenge of not using LEDs, like trying to paint the OSL, I guess. I kind of enjoy that. I've never mixed around too much with LEDs. A lot of what I've seen is like they're way too bright. But I guess you can just sort of paint over them until they're just dim. I've been thinking it would be fun for like some of the terrain buildings to maybe have LED lights in them. That would be more, that could be fun. But on a diorama, I don't know. I kind of enjoy, trying to just paint the light. But I'm not going to say never. Maybe my next one will have LED lights. Who knows? Peter Timko says, I'm still amazed of how much research you did for cyberpunk minis. It's my favorite genre, so kudos on the great job. Yeah, it's fun to, I wouldn't say it was like tons of research. In a way, for me, it's about inspiration as well, like looking at books and films or whatever, just to find the inspiration to paint. And while I do it, then maybe a certain amount of research goes on. But I think it's a great way of tackling the sort of getting inspired to keep on painting is to involve other things like reading books, and that keeps my painting inspiration going anyway. So I don't intentionally do like hardcore research. It's more just sort of happens. Yeah. Hello, Annie Crouch, I think. Michael Cohen. Oh, welcome. Chilling in the garden with the kids, so unlikely to see much of this now, but will say I have some MDF terrain unbuilt on my desk, and everything input on top of it smells like campfires. Yeah, this actually, this is all the stuff from Brutal Cities, which is my favorite purveyors of MDF buildings. Here's one. It's a gentleman called Ryan from Australia who makes these. I really love the designs. I've made a video on them. If you haven't checked that out, you should. And these don't really smell all like, they're not super bad. My dear neighbor and friend Carl bought some terrain, some MDF buildings, and he said it really, really smelled pretty bad, like burnt and fishy. And yeah, I guess it depends on what MDF it is. Like, I know when I talked to Ryan, he said he tried to get, a good quality MDF, but also with as little sort of, they put stuff in it, resin and formaldehyde and stuff. And he just tried to get stuff that had the least amount of stuff in it. For his own sake, because he works with it. Obviously he's got a mask and everything. But I don't know how much that, put into the equation. Obviously it does smell burnt. But this has been unpacked for so long that, now it's got no smell at all. But yeah. Leif from Devs and Dice is asking if I'm moving far away. No, it was like 500 meters from the old flat, pretty much. So no, I'm going to be here, Leif. Jusan Pesik says, first time to catch the live stream. Welcome. I hope you enjoyed. We'll see where this all ends up. I'm still kind of saying hellos to people, which is fun. Ben B. A. McDougall says the Lake District says hello. Well, hello, Lake District. I've my dear dad's from the Lake District. Well, he's lived in Sweden for like 40 years, but he grew up in a village called Appleby, or outside a village called Appleby. So I've been going to the Lake District my entire life, visiting family. So yeah. Jason Jones has lost his bananas. No. This is the banana jokes. Funny. Luke from Geek Gaming Scenics, which is a lovely channel for all your scenic needs. He also paints miniatures too, which is nice. Says he's sacking Josh and hiring Alex to film and shoot my videos. I feel a bit sorry for Josh, and even more sorry for your wallet, Luke. Okay, now the chat jumped. I'm trying to find my way back. Here we are. Tyler Peck says, "Say hi to your mom for me." Overrated comment. That was hilarious. Yeah, wasn't it? I lived in Australia for a while, and there was this guy who had like it was like David Letterman, but he was Australian and not as a bit more sort of intense, younger. He always said, "Say hi to your mom for me." I think. There's got some vague recollections. I'm glad to hear you had a good time, Luke. Luke spent some time with. There's been an event apparently, a Warhammer event. For those of you that know, you probably already know, and for those that aren't interested, then you're going to have to prepare to be a little bit bored, I guess. But it was Warhammer Fest or something like that this weekend. They released lots of new miniatures and stuff like that, and especially lots of old-timey Space Marines, which I actually like and want to get, the ones with the beaky ones. Yeah. And they did a kind of a big thingy and invited lots of people there for this Warhammer Fest. Some of them like miniature painters and creators from around the globe. Our friends, Vince Venturella and Miniac Scott and John, were some of them who were there, and they met up with Luke and I think Guy from Midwinter Minis as well. I've been seeing pictures on Instagram. Looked like a lot of fun. So I'm glad people get to meet up in real life. We spend a lot of times on Discords and all of that, and we get to know each other, and then we realize that, hey, wait a minute, you're on the other side of the world. Like, drinking tea in real life is going to be tricky. So I guess thanks to Games Workshop for connecting some people. Yeah, you're all bots. That's because and now you know where I am in the chat, which is probably like 10 minutes after you guys have written these things. But yeah, I figured you're all bots. Hello, Konstantinos from Greece. Aiden is asking me what camera I'm using. I film all the stuff for the videos with a Black Magic Pocket, which is also what I'm filming with, what you can see me with right now. Yeah. Angry Nachos has got some problems with the first time oil wash, trying to panel line. The wash dries kind of grainy and irregular. Is gloss varnished before and used a good paint? Is it too thin maybe? Maybe it's too thin. I've never really had irregular grainy oil wash. I mean, I guess if you thin it too much, I've heard that lower quality oil paints can act a bit weird when thinned too much, but you're saying you had a good paint, so I don't know. Govind Nair is saying cheers from India. Welcome. Cordor from Canada, hello. We've got Kari from Iceland. Welcome. Jamobi is asking me if I have a producer or if my videos are a solo project. I have a producer, but unfortunately it's myself. There's also a sound guy. It's also me. As I'm the camera guy. I also paint the miniatures, and it's a solo thing. Cyborg Sloth, Lenny the Frog Mug. Now we're talking. Now we're getting into like Bill makes stuff, and his cat thematic. We can have Lenny the Frog. That's a good idea. I'm going to make a mental note. Lenny the Frog t-shirts. It's a good thing. Konstantinos is asking me, are you interested in the upcoming Warhammer Fantasies? You mean the sort of the old world coming back? I have no idea, because I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, I used to play Warhammer. No, I collected Warhammer miniatures as a kid, and so that was the old world, and I enjoy the aesthetics of dwarves that don't have to float around, or be half naked. They can just be like regular dwarves, and like the elves can be just regular elves, and I enjoy that. But I also enjoy Age of Sigmar, and so I don't know. We'll see what they release and when. It feels like it might be a while. James Morgan says, thank you for your videos. Your sense of color is amazing. Do you have any recommendations for someone who is looking to improve their color theory? Paint more minis is one thing. Mix more paint is another, I guess. If you really want to get into the theory thing and like see someone use it to that actually, because I know nothing about color theory, I just paint. And I think because I've in a way worked with colors because I'm a photographer, that helps, but I've never studied like proper color theory for art or anything like that. But you could check out not just Mecha, Marco Frisoni, I think his name is. He's done quite a few videos on like hardcore color theory stuff, which if you really want to get into like theory, you could do that. There's also a book that I can't remember the name of, which is supposedly good to read. But that's not very helpful because I can't remember the name of the book. Old John says you can dim lead downs with resistors quite easily. Yeah, probably. Kaio is asking if there's any specific minis you're looking forward to paint right now. Well, I'm having fun with these. Here's a dragon. I've been painting this dragon today, which has been. Where is he? I have to there he is. There's a dragon. He's a bit of an out of focus dragon, right? Let's see if we can focus the dragon. I can't really see what I'm doing. I don't know. Is that a focus dragon? I should hire a focus puller. So I've been having fun with this one today. It's just, I forget with like big miniatures how much work. Like there's just so much space to paint. And I'm trying to be pretty rapid here. It's mainly just sort of dry brushing and I think it's called overbrushing when you sort of dry brush, but you've got more paint in your brush. And still working on it. But there's just so much of it. And there's two of them. And it feels like I've been painting these for ages, kind of. But I'm having fun with that. As I said before, the first time I've ever wanted really to paint Space Marines is after seeing the old-timey Horus Heresy Beaky Marines that they released or are going to release pretty soon, I guess. I actually want to paint them, which is kind of fun. So I think maybe I'm going to do because I've been looking for ways to make maybe some simpler videos as well. My videos take a lot of time, and I have fun making them. But sometimes it would be nice to just be able to do some simpler videos when other things happen. Like now, I've been moving house and like I was building this at the same time as I was, packing bananas, and so it would be nice to just maybe do. I'm just gonna paint a miniature and not film all that much other stuff. Just maybe do a little bit more what a lot of other creators are doing. Just every now and again to have as a backup, I guess. And so I thought maybe I'm going to paint Space Marines, the biggie ones, and just paint them in different themes, like paint one and yeah. So I want to do that, but I guess they have to be released first, and then I can start. We'll see. Marcus says, I used Abteilung 502 black and odorless thinner, and he was having problem with like a grainy result with the wash. Yeah, I've actually haven't worked. I bought a bunch of Abteilung 502 oil paints. I just haven't really used them all that much. So I guess they're good. But I don't know the quality really. I mean, everyone uses them, so they should be fine. Personally, I use like Winston and Newton. I also, hold on, I've got these sent to me. I haven't had a chance to try them either, but Scalecolour are coming out with oil paints. Probably going to use these on the dragons as well, maybe. But yeah, where am I? My desk is full. Good morning, Carl. Konstantin, welcome. Okay, the chat jumped. Hello, Mika from Cologne. Luke says that he was, him and Guy was invited. Probably were not invited, I guess is what you're trying to say. Where you just met up with and did a podcast with Ninjan and Scott the Miniac. Yeah, I wasn't invited. I wasn't even invited to the podcast. Hello, Donkey Paints Minis. Welcome. I'm trying to scroll down a bit here in the chat. Konstantinos says he's kind of excited about the Horus Heresy. Yeah, I thought there was quite a lot of fun. I'm going to see if I can find the releases here on their Instagram, maybe. That's one way of doing it. What are they called? Warhammer. That's the one. And now you can see me. Now this is the old-timey way of doing it. Screen sharing, out of focus screen sharing, probably. So this is what they released. But there was also some fun stuff like there's a new book for people who play rats. Hopefully they get some more rat miniatures. There was like this stuff for the wood elves, I guess they are in a way. I thought these were really cool. It's like out riding bugs, which is fun. There's some chaos people. I was going to say beasts of chaos, I guess. There's a lot of fun releases. And these are the beaky marine things I was talking about. Which is, yeah, we'll see. I just kind of like the look of them. Thought it'd be fun to paint. So they've been releasing a fair bit of stuff, which is not unusual. I guess that answers your question, Mika. Yeah, I want the beaky marines. I want to paint them. Wilson number 14 asks me, who am I and what do I do? Which is, it's a good point when you join a chat on a YouTube channel. I mean, I guess it could be interesting just randomly jumping into like, just, who are you? What are you doing? But otherwise, it's I paint miniatures, and my name is Alex. Carrie asks me, any experience or plans on painting a mini using only oil paints? Yes, I want to paint a mini using only oil paints. I actually want to make a video, maybe a bit of a thorough video on how I use oil paints, like the different steps. So like how I make oil washes and other ways that I use oil paints. And one of them would be also how, what it looks like to paint an entire mini with oil paints. Just to have as a reference, because I use oil paints pretty regularly in videos, and I feel that every time I sort of have to explain the process because it's still sort of a new thing for a lot of people. A lot of people don't use oil paints for various reasons, which is fine. But I think they're very good at, there's certain properties that are great. And so instead of having to explain myself in every other video, like how to mix or what is oil paints, then I can just reference, check out my video on oil paints. And so that's something I want to do. And in that video, I want to paint an entire miniature using only oil paints. It'll be out 2027. Okay, scrolling in the chat. Hello, Jorge. William is asking me what time it is, but you'll have to. It's not really important. William, you've got a lot of interesting questions. William, number 14, but it's yeah. Ernst is asking, can we get both a Lenny the Frog and a Packing Bananas t-shirt? I'll see what I can do. Need to find someone who can paint like an artist. I've got an artist in my Discord, which is, by the way, I think maybe Martin is a little busy today. He always writes sort of little messages sometimes, reminding me that I should, advertise the fact that I have a Patreon, which is full of benefits. That all take place on the Discord. You get to join it. I've got a Discord channel for my patrons, and there's a gentleman there nicknamed Alignment Inc. I think I'm not going to spread any other names right here because this is a public space, and he draws nice. Maybe he can draw me on a banana box and a frog. Who knows? See you, Luke. Nice to have you for a while. Good luck with the filming. Victor is asking if I ever any thoughts about doing a Sylvaneth army. No, not really, actually. I don't mind them, but it's just not. I think there would be other priorities. Like first off is finishing my second Stormcast army that I started probably, 3 or 4 months back. But I think if I would go for anything else, like in Age of Sigmar, it wouldn't be Sylvanas. I think and greenskins are fun. Rats are fun. Yeah. Whoa, the chat jumped. Cyborg Sloth says, I do like how your setup looks like the late night show set. Yeah, and this one's a bit rude, really. You should move that a little bit out of the way. I know, I should have a guest. It's just that my guest is not... Welcome, Mr. Sony. And there should be a band with like the really fun drummer fellow. Yeah. Auric Proto God asks me if I've ever heard of a peen. No. I've heard of peanuts, not peen. The Neoncaster is asking me if I play any TTRPGs on top of war games, tabletop roleplay games. No, I don't. I play Age of Sigmar, which is it kind of feels like an exaggeration when I say that I play Age of Sigmar, because I probably haven't in about 6 months. Trying to make amends and play more. It's been a bit, the last few months have been a bit intense. But I play Age of Sigmar and Stargrave. I'm not hugely into the role play thing, honestly. I think a narrative and a story and like a setting and is fun to play around with a little bit, but I'm not much of a sort of role player, really. Phil says Beaky Marine Chick is honestly bizarre. Chic, not chick, chic. Like the group Chic. Disco. They were of my time, and we had to file the ends off and add a slice of sprue each side as a gas mask style filter. You mean you didn't like them, the beaks? I kind of like them just because they remind me of plague masks, I think. See, there's Martin, the lovely, I was going to say the lovely narrator, which he isn't. I think I'm the narrator at the moment. He's the administrator of this chat, but also of the Discord. Has a lovely link to my Patreon in the chat now, for those of you that are interested in joining this lovely fellowship, together with Phil, who's a proud patron. Constantino says, can you recommend any oil paints for miniature painting? Any specific brand would be helpful. I'd probably go for Winsor & Newton, because you can go into any art store and there's going to be a lot of it, and you can just sort of pick. I guess one of the things is, let's see. So these are sorry, I'm going to make a bit of noise here. See if I can. I'll have to move that camera to get into this cupboard. That was a bit silly. Let's find the oil paints. Oil paints. Oil paints. So this is the Winsor & Newton. They look like this. The white ones are the artist range, and these are the regular range. So these are more expensive than these, I guess. Like with whatever you do here in the world, you can spend more money on things, and these are more expensive. It's quality of pigment and stuff like that. I think they also have even cheaper range. I think like a school brand or something. I don't know. Then these are the Abteilung, and I don't know why I bought all of these. It was one of those spur of the moment things, and I seriously haven't used them all that much. And these are Scalecolour's oil paints. I don't think they've been released yet, and I'm about to try them. One of the big differences is, I guess, that you get these in art stores, and they're usually priced depending on the pigment. So this one, for example, which I just happened to have in my hand, which is cobalt green. I think it was cobalt green. It was really expensive. It was like $40 or $50 or something like that, because of the pigment. And then you have something like this, which is just called bright red, which is see, this one says series 5, and this one is series 1, which means that it's like a fifth of the price of this one, and it's got to do with how expensive the pigment is. Whereas when you buy a set of oil paints like this from this is what's their name? AK Interactive, right? And probably these, I don't know, but I'm guessing is that you just buy a set, and it's a set price, and they probably just evened out if it's supposed to be, some more expensive pigments or some cheaper pigments. They just sort of even that out, and every box costs the same. They also obviously name them differently, so these are actually usually named after the pigment or whatever's inside. Whereas these are called stuff like scroll white, red mauve, antique pink, toad green, light rust, dark rust. And so you get what I'm trying to get at here. I've been talking. Yeah. What I'm trying to get at here is that it's sort of a little bit up to you and how your mind works, because some people like miniature specific things. So you want paint that says orc green on it, because that makes I'll use this one for orcs. And so if you have an oil paint that says toad green, you're like, great, I use it for painting toads, and you're comfortable with that. Whereas when you've got one that says viridian hue, you're like, wait a minute, can I paint toads with this, or this is confusing? You also know that, there's no surprises when you're going to go pay. You get them for a set price. Whereas these, you can go like, whoa, wait a minute, what happened? Oh, I took 2 of the expensive ones. Quality-wise, I mean, I've got no idea. Obviously, this is great quality oil paint. You're probably not going to need any better quality oil paint than this. And what the quality on these are, I don't know, because I haven't really been using them all that much, so I can't say it personally. But if I was you and you just want to check it out, I'll just, go and buy some Winsor & Newton oil paints. Or whenever they're released, something like this is like a starter primary pack. Could be handy, but yeah. Best thing is if you know anyone, like if you've got a friend or something that paints with oil paints, because you don't need a lot of it, seriously. And so this is a lifetime of cobalt green for me, So sharing is caring. If you've got a friend who deals with oil paints or paints with oil paints, or if someone's parent, maybe someone's got something in the basement lying somewhere, used to paint in high school but stopped, see if you can find some free oil paint just to try it, and then you can start spending money on it. Okay. I've been talking about that for quite a while, so let's see what happens in the chat. Vector Shaman says, hello from the D&D side of the table. Always great to catch you live. Painting my half of Dominion. Nearly done. Any tips for a new Stormcast player so I don't get absolutely tabled? Oh. Well, hi, Victor. And I don't know. It depends on who you're going to meet. See, I mainly play against my neighbor Carl, and sometimes originally his friend. I guess now it's a mutual friend, a guy called Robert, and they're very experienced players. They're, compared to me, and so. In a way, I kind of have to have sort of not a competitive list, but I can't just go like, these are just the miniatures I think look great and play, not against them. Well, I could, but I'd lose even more than I usually lose. But if you're playing against someone who's like, look at these are the coolest miniatures, and my army is just going to be these. I'm gonna have like 500 zombies, and that's it, because that's cool. Then you can just do the same. If you want to play tournaments and win, then I don't know. You should check out some other channel maybe for that kind of information. But yeah, lately Stormcast has been a lot about dragons and shooting, I guess. Jorge has a question. When painting a model with cybernetic or more metal bits, what do you do to make the model more interesting? Tint the metal. I usually, if I paint with metallic paints, yes. I usually use like color the metallic paint with something, or paint like a transparent paint on top of the metallic, like an ink or something like that, just because it looks cool. Or rust. It's like blue turquoise-ish ink because it's cool, or rust, or both. Sometimes something that looks a bit maybe like oil, like streaking oil streaks, stuff like that. Yeah. But usually transparent stuff works well over metallics. Crows and Bones says, love your videos. Can't stay long, but thought I'd let you know. I appreciate what you're doing. Thank you. I'm glad to hear that you like the videos. I very much enjoy making them and sharing them. So it's a great combo. Hello, Isak Almqvist. Welcome. Hello, Emily Khan. Welcome as well. Lots of patrons here. It's fun. Carl Constantine says, Scalecolour has a Kickstarter coming out May 18th for a new line of acrylic paint in a tube that I'm kind of curious of. Yeah. But I mean, they already have the acrylic paints in a tube. I think the new thing now is that they're releasing, don't quote me on this, but I thought it was maybe fluorescent paints in a tube, because they have their artist line already. And so that was sort of confusing me, because I saw the Kickstarter thing and I'm like, well, you've already got the artist line is already a thing. And then, so maybe it's new paints for the artist line. And I think it might be fluorescent paints. Yoko Fono says, hi, Alex. How did you find an interest in fantasy and sci-fi the first time as a youngster? I mean, I think it's the snowball effect that started with probably visiting lots of castles in England as a kid, maybe. I thought that whole medieval thing was pretty, like, as a really small kid, and Vikings was cool. And then I think my dad read Narnia to me as a kid, and then after that he read sort of Lord of the Rings or something like that, and by then I was kind of hooked. I wasn't playing difficult really. I was an easy catch, and so then I had that sort of interest. I think with miniatures and games, it came with a friend. There was also the Star Wars thing. I remember Star Wars and Star Trek a lot. So there was also sort of a sci-fi interest. Willow, that I watched Willow 7 billion times, I think. Also, like Monty Python's Holy Grail, because it's like, well, yeah, sure, they haven't got horses, but at least they've got chainmail and that. But yeah. Then I think it was a friend's bigger brother who started with Warhammer Fantasy, and also Magic the Gathering cards, and also role-playing games like Dungeons and Dragons, but the Swedish version. Yeah, Snowball. Cyborg Sloth says, just bought some golden soul flat to try out soon. I hope they get stocked somewhere here in Sweden. Yeah, I hope so too. I'm a little bit like, don't know if I need to buy any more paint right now, which is what I always say until I go and buy more paint. But yeah, I've been curious, but at the moment, I'm not really sure if I need more paint. Yeah. But that'll probably change next week. Next week, I'll probably need more paint. And golden soul flat would be nice to try out. Robbie says, hello, I love your channel and the craft of how you make such unique videos. Your style of miniatures and style of videos are refreshing. I'm curious, what did you do before YouTube full time? Well, I don't do YouTube full time. I'm just a superhuman, and I don't sleep much. I actually don't sleep much. That's got more to do with my son than being a superhuman. But I'm a photographer, and I work a bit with moving pictures as well, like simpler productions, filming stuff. And I still do that as well as make videos for YouTube. I just work a lot of hours a week. But for some reason, the bank doesn't seem to, like, it doesn't really connect. It's strange. I work a lot and I haven't got any money. It's weird. But I get to paint minis. Christopher Jones has agreed. The Patreon is a great place, full of splendid people, and you're pressured into actually painting. Yeah, it's like, come join the Discord, and you'll see the other side of me, like the darker side with the whip, and like, paint. Or get out of here. Oh no, wait, come back, give me the money. No, wait. But yeah, we try and encourage each other quite a lot on the Discord, and also just help out with, I'm kind of stuck. What should I be doing? How should anyone got any ideas, or just look at this? This was cool, and everyone goes like, yeah, that's cool, and it's nice. It actually, for me, it helps. We also try and do some more informal sort of streams on the Discord, just sort of hobby hangouts, which is me talking a lot less, basically, and letting other people actually share their worldview, and not just me acting like some kind of despot. Martin says, I have. Okay, wait. Where are we? It jumped. There's from quick note from our sponsor here. Do you want to look fancy? Alex has you covered with these awesome T-shirts and hoodies. 52 miniatures Teespring. Yeah, that's and we're gonna work on some Toad merch, I guess, or Frog merch, and banana boxes. Okay. Hello, Bill. Welcome. I enjoyed your stream the other night. I had to go do something. Maybe you was go to bed. You started streaming pretty late, I remember, and you were drawing a noodle robot, a noodle selling robot, which was fun. And you got to drink wine as well, which is not. I just get tea in my streams. But there we are. It was fun. Erin is asking me if I've still got my neighbor if I moved. Carl, yeah, I haven't moved that far. I'm still in the same neighborhood, so he's still my neighbor. I'm going to call him that anyway. Thomas Lundström asks, how do you paint orcs to look like zombies? Make them paler, like a lot more white, pale white in the flesh, and some reds, mixing like reds and greens and blues, like rotting flesh kind of a thing, more than just having the one tone. Like it's not just green or pale green or like mixing in. So if you do like a pale green but with blue and red, in the shadows and stuff. I think, was it Ninjan who did a fun video on painting lots of zombies that I thought ended up looking pretty cool. And I think it was a pretty simple concept. Might even have involved oil paints. I'm not sure. He painted lots of them. Maybe that would just work on orcs. Yeah, I painted these sort of. They're a bit more like mutants, really. But if they would have been a bit more sort of blue and green in the shadows, maybe they would have been more zombie-like. I guess it's instead of having red, like warm skin tones, you want sort of green skin tones, but without. And I don't mean green skin. I mean like what your flesh would look like if, you'd been all the blood's gone and you've been rotting for a few days in a dark basement. Bill Making Stuff has one question. Why 52 miniatures? Well, Bill, this is a story of legend, and as legends have it, they constantly change with time to suit the time of when they're told. So the most recent one, which I kind of like, is that there's 52 decks in if you play cards, there's 52 cards in a deck, and my skills are like a deck of cards. I don't know. I also play games, which is like playing cards. Yeah, maybe that didn't. I was actually I bought a box of Warhammer miniatures called the Soul Wars box, which was a starter kit for Age of Sigmar when I got back into this hobby. And there was 52 miniatures in that box. I think someone has told me that there was actually 53 and that I can't count. But yeah. And I was like, okay, what's the channel going to be called? Well, I can call it 52 miniatures. But please, you can make another one up. Phil says Scalecolour artist lines are lovely for texturing and detailing over normal paint, but little else. I don't know about little else because people get to do what they choose. But that's exactly how I've been using them. Yes, Phil, and I love them for it. Like you sort of finished with the base layers and all of that, and then you sort of going to work a bit on highlights. And I think the Scalecolour artist paints work great for that. Pretty much this entire diorama is highlighted with they're very they become pretty thin, which is sometimes nice. So you can almost use a white and highlight stuff with the white, and when it dries, it's like, oh, it's not a white, it's like gray. It's pretty transparent, but it's I don't know. There's something with how they act on the brush and how they act when highlighting that I enjoy. But it took me quite a few times to start liking them. It was not an instant love affair. It was more like, this is just weird, and then I put them away. And for some reason, I got them out, and now I enjoy them. But yeah. Blue Wolf, hi, keep up the amazing work. Inspires me with every new video and stream. Your book videos are great as well. Yeah, I should do a new book video. I actually haven't been reading, as I said before, these past months have been a bit maxed out on the personal side of things. And I haven't been reading as much as I usually do. And I like doing the book recommendation videos, even though they usually end up losing me both subscribers and patrons. But I'm still going to keep doing them. Hans Musterman says, Willow is cool. Yeah, Willow sure is cool. Joe Mountains came late due to Mother's Day breakfast here in the US, but I find I enjoy base spraying with a light silver, then coloring with a contrast paint for colors, especially on larger models for 40K. Yeah, exactly. We're back to the metallic thing. It's a great idea. If one has contrast paints, to use them on top of metallics works great. Martin says, next video idea, paint a shrubbery. Yes. Okay, trying to find my way through the chat. Joseph Bradshaw says, I want to paint Imperial Fists, which is the yellow Space Marines, and your tutorial effort is amazing, but I don't have an airbrush. Any tips? Something I'd be interested in trying is doing... I've been seeing this yellow contrast paint. And so is it called in Indiadan yellow, something like that? Martin Cobb in the chat will be able to write what the yellow contrast paint is called. It seems to work really, really well. And I'm thinking that combined with oil paints, maybe. A lot of the video that I did on painting the yellow Space Marine, a lot of the cool stuff happened at the end and was thanks to the oil paints. And you can still, there's nothing, you can still use oil paints on top of that yellow contrast paint. And it seems to be a pretty good way, because painting yellow is a bit tricky. It's very nice to have an airbrush when you're working with the yellow. But that yellow contrast paint seems to work out fine. So maybe that's a trick. There's also the trick of having a bit of like magenta, like purple, pinkish, pink, red, pink. There's no purple in magenta, but yeah, pink or magenta in the shaded areas. And when you put the yellow on top of that, it sort of turns into orange in the shaded areas. I kind of did that a little bit in the video. I don't know how you could transfer that to without having an airbrush. Maybe you could prime your miniature white and try and just get some magenta in the wherever there's more shadows with a brush. I don't know how you usually prime your miniatures, or you could maybe you could just brush on magenta all over and then dry brush it with a white and then put transparent yellow contrast paint on top of that. I've got no idea. It's worth a try. Or you just do the yellow contrast paint and then put oil paints on that, like an orange kind of a thing going on top. Would probably be my tip. Bill Making Stuff says 52 bodies somewhere. Yeah, somewhere in a basement in Sweden. It's actually something I want to do. But it doesn't really matter. But it's a video I want to make. But I've kind of felt that there's not enough. This is going to sound morbid, but we can blame Bill Making Stuff, which is, by the way, is a lovely channel on crafting stuff with great music and a very entertaining gentleman called Bill that you should check out if you haven't done that already. But I want to do I think tabletop war games do not have enough corpses, especially not like Age of Sigmar. It's pretty rough. There's not really any nice people. And in both Age of Sigmar and Warhammer 40k and all of that, I really miss. There's a apparent lack of civilians, which is, I guess maybe not as many parents would buy their kids the toys where there's like corpses everywhere, and like refugees and all the kind of stuff you get with war is missing from the world of Warhammer, which I think is it's not really realistic. So I think terrain does not feature enough corpses, because you have you have this city and then there's two armies fighting in a city kind of a thing, but where's all the people that used to live in so I'd like to paint up. I want more corpses for my tabletop. CHBHR says, I sometimes feel like when painting, a lot of people try to do all the steps they saw a lot in YouTube videos without actually enjoying the process. So thanks for your videos to remind us that to just have fun. Yeah, I think it's kind of important. Obviously, it's a little bit tricky because you get views usually when a lot of people that watch videos that aren't really into the hobby. I think a lot of people that do this hobby are more like, I paint miniatures sometimes, I play games sometimes. It's not a huge deal. It's a fun little hobby. They're not all like watching every single YouTuber's release or, because when making videos like I do, you get a bit like, this is the only thing that's going on in the world kind of a thing, which it isn't. And so I think a lot of people that just use YouTube as like, how do I paint yellow, and then they see a video. Oh, there's this guy, he paints yellow, and it's like when if I want to, like, my washing machine breaks down, I go like, how can I fix my washing machine? That's how I use YouTube. On other things apart from, miniature painting, I just watch videos because I have this general interest. I just, it's just fun to watch Bill making stuff, or Leif from Devs and Dice building stuff. It's just sort of gets me inspired kind of a thing. But I think a lot of people just want the this is how you do it. And so you can get quite a lot of views from being a bit more specific, I think, than I am. On the other hand, I realize I don't like to tell people how to do things. I can say how I do things, but there's no right and wrong. The main thing is that try and stay happy and paint, or maybe painting can make you happy, and maybe someone saying like you're doing it wrong can make you not want to paint, and thus you're not going to be happy. So I do try and just be a little bit inspirational, but I'm not sure, if it becomes too sort of hardcore, if it's just the sort of a bit more hardcore hobbyists that watch my type of videos. I don't know. See, here it is, the contrast paint. Ianden yellow. Lovely. Okay. Here we are. See, Frederick here says, perhaps painting a magenta and dry brushing white, just as Alex said. Yeah, don't know. You try it. Test minis are a mini painter's best friend, one of our best friends. Hopefully you have other best friends, but not everyone has best friends. Sometimes when you get kids, friends, disappear, and or you're just stuck with your test painting miniature, which it's better than nothing. So, but yeah, I usually have these little friends. Oh, okay, lots of fun noises for you there. I just need to move my camera in. Here's one of my test painting miniatures. It's probably out of focus. Well, not too bad. I think this is I made a video on Vault Tech, on the Veil Touched, the desert scheme. This was my test painting mini for that. So you can see how I've been testing different transparent colors over a Zenithal Prime just to see how they work out. And there's probably another 10 layers of different, previous projects on this miniature underneath. And then I just prime over it again and do the next one and prime over it and just keep on going like that. And it's just great to have some miniatures around that you don't really like. I think these were sort of in store, if you go to a Games Workshop store and they give you a minute to paint for free. Yeah. Good night, Jason Jones. Have a good one. Bill Making Stuff says, yeah, I agree. More corpses would be a good thing, right? And I think because I had this with my terrain, I've got this thing that I want to be able to use it both for fantasy and sci-fi, which is, it's probably going to look a little bit more sci-fi and a little bit less fantasy, but whatever. And then I've been thinking that whatever's scatter terrain is what sets the mood. So you put a spaceship there, it's like, oh, this is a sci-fi game. And then you put like your gallows or I don't know, temple, fountain. I don't know, it's like, oh, it's a fantasy. It's just fantasy. Then you could have like, if you have modern alien-looking corpses, it's like this is a sci-fi game. And if you have like peasants, corpses looking medieval, it's a fantasy. Corpses can be useful. Emily Khan says, got to have more corpses. I feel they're missing from some of my basing. Yeah, corpses are kind of fun. I've stepped away from skulls for some reason. I always used to put skulls on, on bases. It's like it's not a base if there's not a tuft and a skull. You're not gone to Warhammer school if there's not skulls and tufts. And I dig tufts, but I've kind of, skulls. Yeah, don't know. For some reason, I'm taking a break from skulls, but pieces of like more like a skull, but with flesh on, but like corpse bits is nice for basing. Christopher Jones, have a fun time finding your banana. I just said that, didn't I? That was strange. Joe Mountain says, just so you know, I thought your Monster Hunter video was entertaining and beautifully shot. Great cinematography. And as a book guy, your book discussions are a major reason why I became a patron. Thanks, Joe. Yeah, I'm definitely going to keep doing the book reviews. I just, we've got a book club kind of running on the Discord, which is great. And I do want to do something with Oscar again. Don't know what really. We'll see. And when. He's a pirate at the moment. He owns a big ship together with another fellow. He's somewhere on the coast of England, I think, in his big, like it's a serious ship. It's got masts and stuff like ships do. And I'm not really sure what they're doing, but they're actually, I think, actually at this point of time dressed as pirates because they're in some. There's like a pirate festival or something in, I don't know, Portsmouth or whatever, somewhere. Okay. Aladam says even the live stream is aesthetically pleasing. Yeah, I do try. It's always nice to just rub it in there a little bit extra. Cyborg Sloth says, to be clear, test painting miniatures and kids are different entities? ? Well, I mean, the problem I have with my kid is really difficult to prime because he runs around a lot, So I just find this a bit more handy because it's just still. Fad Ali. Hi, Alex. Long time watcher, first time messenger. Have you watched an anime called Berserk? I think you'd love it. No. What's the thematic? Is it just when I read Berserk, for some reason I see a Viking in front of me eating like mushrooms that makes him a bit extra tingly in the head, and but in theory, a berserker could be anyone eating tingly mushrooms. Bill says, I'm reading The Left Hand of Darkness after your recommendation. I owned it, but I never felt like picking it up. Not enough spaceships, but I enjoyed it. Yeah, I mean, there's a spaceship right on the page 1 or 2, I think, isn't there? When he lands. And then at the end, I shouldn't say anything about the end, I guess. But no, I agree. There's not enough spaceships, but I just think it's a great book. When I love sci-fi books that are a bit unapologetic. Is that when that's not overly described of what's the world one is in? It just sort of starts happening. Stuff starts happening. It's like with this fella. It's like you don't understand half of it. It just makes up words, and you're like, what's he? I don't get it. And I just like that. It's not. It doesn't have to be. Because some books can be like, you're in the future now, so they talk into these things that gets translated automatically into another language, and there's all these explanations on how technology works or what this world looks like or what the culture is, because otherwise we just don't get it. And then some writers just go like, well, I don't really care if they get it or not, because that's not really the story, and I enjoy that. And then there's lots of other things I enjoy about The Left Hand of Darkness as well, but that's one of the things. JP Merger says he picked up the rules for Stargrave because of my videos. Have you played any more games of Stargrave or started a campaign? No, just played the first game, and then this move thing just became too big of a thing, really. I'm making this little, And there was Easter holidays. I've got lots of excuses, but no. I need to rethink my crew a little bit. But then it would be great fun to actually start a campaign, because I was kind of a bit sort of maddened, is the polite word, that my entire crew got wiped. But if you play a campaign, it's not really the end of the world, really, because someone might walk around with a bit of a limp in the next game, but chances are a lot of people will sort of at least semi-recover. And so it'd be nice to play a campaign just to get over the fact that, they got turned into corpses, but it doesn't matter. Jorge says, progression through struggle. That is one of the themes of Berserk. No Vikings or shrooms in the story. Okay. I'll have to see if I can check it out. Oh, my chat's jumping about. Bill making stuff says not enough physics-related phenomena either. Yeah, that's fun with isn't there a word for it, like Newtonesque sci-fi or something? When they actually try and, this could possibly happen. Why is there pigment powder on my computer? Oscar Payne says, I'm halfway through the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Have you read them? And if so, what are your thoughts on it? I've read them several times, but such a long time ago that I can't really say what I think anymore. To be honest, probably haven't read them in almost 20 years, but before that I would probably have read them several times. So I can't really comment, apart from, I guess if we would say that we were all Christians, then that would be our Bible, and so it should be read, kind of a thing, I guess. Okay. We're done with the Warhammer Fantasy new releases. There wasn't, we said that the Biki things were kind of fun. There was some other stuff going on. Does anyone know if that game is it going to be? It's like it's a new game, the Horus Heresy stuff. Because that's a strange thing for me. I just checked the minis, but from what I understand, it's going to be a new game as well. Some people have live streams and they talk about stuff they know. I have live streams and I ask questions about all the stuff that I don't know. So does anyone know? I'm going to see if I can make a window here. Jorge says, a book that's been recommended to me is Children of Time. Okay. I'll try and remember. Frederick says, Lord of the Rings, too few spaceships. Agreed. Martin says, it's already a game. Okay, so 30K but it's based off of an old version of 40K. Is it a war game or a skirmish game? Or is it? Well, if it's old 40K, then it would be, a war game, I guess. Mark from Montana, time for me to go. I have to allocate some extra time now for shaking the paint bottles. That's good, Mark. Good luck. Let me know what your research on the vortex mixer thing is. I've got a feeling they might not have heard my call for help. Martin said it's being updated with new plastic models rather than lots of resin minutes. It's also relatively balanced, and it's mostly Space Marines versus Space Marines, of course, because there would be the people doing the heresy and the ones that believe that the other people are doing a heresy. I get it. Hello, the end. Welcome. Bassett says it looks like they're migrating Forge World game to Games Workshop and replacing the resin kits with plastic. It sounds like a smart thing to do, I guess. I don't know. I've only ever bought one thing from Forge World, and that was heads for Stormcast, female heads for Stormcast, and it's the worst female heads for Stormcasts I've ever bought, I think. Sorry, was that a good? Was that night? Was that? Should I do it again? It was kind of a good sound, right? I think this is going to be a blunt knife from here on. Victor, nice to have you. Looking forward to seeing you again as well. I've got this. These are the simplest little simple buildings from my mind is not with me. Brutal Cities. And it's just, I mean, it's just like a container, really, but it's actually housing, kind of. Yeah, so it's like a rectangle kind of a thing. And in theory, they have windows, but it's not actually windows. It just looks like they're supposed to be windows, which is this bit here. Only I've gone and done this. Actually cut out the window using this knife, which is, if you're going to cut through MDF, you can do it with one of these. Just be very careful with your fingers and be patient and probably swear a lot. And then eventually out pops Bob's uncle. And so then I figured I'm going to put some mesh behind the window instead. So it'll look like that. And I can sort of bend the mesh a little bit and stuff. It'll be fun. And that's why I was making the fun noise. Martin says, didn't you get a massive squid dinosaur model from your neighbor? I presume that would be in Forge World. Yeah, well, I didn't. I just borrowed it for a video. It's probably still in a box. That was massive. I forgot about that one. It's huge. It was like a mammoth-sized. I can do it again if you really want me to. Mammoth-sized squid. Squig, not a squid. So I think one of the cool things with MDF is it's like, in some cases, I feel like even though this is like this would be probably the simplest scratch build, I guess. You just buy foam core and make a box and you're kind of done. With something like this, a bit more difficult, but you could still do it, I guess. What I enjoy is that I don't actually have to, someone's already done the dimensions and the thinking and the scale, all of that. And then my job is just to make it a little bit more personal. And so I can add things like this, actually cut out, put windows in, put other sort of bits and bobs. There can be wiring, there can be vents, air conditioning. Maybe not air conditioning, because I want this to work sort of for fantasy as well. And I kind of enjoy that a bit more. Just the fun little stuff that makes it come alive, and I don't have to maybe spend time with redoing. I scratch built 4 houses, and unfortunately I used Stormcast for scale, which is it's like using the tallest person in the world as a scale reference when you're going to build your house, or the shortest person for that matter. It could be equally as interesting. And so the houses, I mean, they're just massive. They're way too large for being. They were going to be just cottages, and they're huge. And now I don't have to live with that kind of mistakes, because the great Ryan over at Brutal Cities has already fact-checked all the scale. And then these are actually, the reason why they've got these holes in them is that there's also these bits. So you can sort of stack them, that goes in there, and you can stack them in different ways, which is fun. And there's ladders, and there's actually separate, they're behind there somewhere, other type of ladder structures that you can sort of fit these into. And it's a bit of a thing that I like. Okay, sorry. I need to go back in the chat here a little bit. Phil is back from Sunday dinner. Yeah, I need to go cook my Sunday dinner pretty soon. JP Emerger says I should have a second channel where I record hobby sounds. Didn't Miniac? I think he did a video on hobby sounds, didn't he? But I mean, there's some. This is a great sound. Wait. It just feels like it's some smooth MDF. It's what that sound is called, smooth MDF. Martin says, along with squeaky chair. Yeah, I chose the non-squeaky chair for this stream of today. So I should probably bash this up a little bit before I glue it in place, and I should probably try and. Is that better in focus? Maybe just a little bit, yeah. So if I just kind of stab at it, it'll look a bit, yeah, and then maybe. How do I get it flat so I can glue it back together again? No one knows. The end. I may have missed it, but do you own a laser cutter or a flash forge type machine? No, I don't own a laser cutter. I actually got some Chinese company the other week, asking me if I wanted to try one out and make a video on it, and I'm like, but it's huge and it needs a vent, and there's but yeah. So no, I don't. I can't. I wouldn't know where to start, really. Kyle says, I'm really enjoying this evolution from soothing sounds to exercise in oral punishment. Yeah, it's the 52 miniatures way. Cyborg Sloth says an iron. Yeah, no, I'm just this will do, I guess. I can probably just add some glue, and then I can sit. Hot glue would probably be nice for this, because now I'll just have to sit like this for probably until the end of the stream, is what I realized. Which is why I don't have a crafting channel. But there we are. I'm just going to sit like this for a while now. Patrick says, apologies if you have already answered this in earlier streams or videos, but do you play with any tabletop roleplay games? And if yes, do you play with miniatures, terrain, or theater of the mind? I don't. No, yeah. I did answer this just a little bit earlier today. But no, I don't really play RPG style games. I'm not much of a roleplay type person. I mean, I enjoy a certain amount of story, even to war games. It's fun to have a narrative and not just the rolling of dice. It's just enjoyable. But I've never really been role playing much. You know what I should try and okay? Can I? I'm gonna see if I can get my baking soda out one-handedly. Okay, I'll just do that and that. That was another nice sound for you. I think there should be baking soda in here somewhere. Which is so going to make this more rapid and probably more durable. What do you say? This is a super glue, and baking soda is a great thing. I don't own any of that sort of super glue accelerant stuff. It's not, I don't know. Do we have to be so impatient all the time that we have? I mean, super glue is infamous for being a glue that dries fast, and even that needs an accelerant. Come on, can we just sit a bit more like with our cups like this for a very long time, talking about bananas on a hobby chat? Whereas Marcus said baking soda is a super glue accelerant. Yeah, I know. I was struck by my own sable. Cardi B says, I'm really good at getting accelerant on my hands and then getting glue on them. And then they stick together. Yeah. It's just, I'm not, it feels like what's in the accelerant, like this is the spray that we fill the room with and we inhale. There's already so much stuff we inhale. Is super glue accelerant good for you? Better late than never. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Dirk, and welcome. You got another 10 minutes or so. So please, if you have any questions, just go ahead. Otherwise, you can hang out here and watch me try not to glue my fingers together. Snap! It came loose. There we are. That's better. A nice thing would have been to actually check that it came on sort of straight. Now it looks a bit Willy Wonka. Oh, well. Maybe if I actually cut it up more and yeah. build making stuff, yeah, I don't feel good after using accelerant. As in, you don't feel, as in you feel sick, or as if you just it mentally doesn't feel good. Because I just see people that they're just spraying it all over the place, and at the same time you're supposed to, like, when making videos, it's kind of important to at least pretend like we're being careful with all the stuff, because I mean, sometimes there is a fair bit of like chemicals and resin and all of that stuff involved, and it's not great for you. And then all of a sudden, everyone's just spraying this super glue accelerant everywhere, and I'm just wondering what's in the stuff. Phil mostly inhales cake, which I think is a bit chunky, but probably pretty safe. The only thing that I realized I just realized now while looking at the chat is because I put windows in means I should, like, if I glue this together now, I can't seal it completely because I'm going to have to paint the inside black before I glue it together, because now you'll be able to see the inside. And so that was maybe, I hadn't really considered that. Oh well. So I can, if I just leave the roof off, should be all right. Jacob says, usually accelerant is acetone based, not particularly bad for you in low amounts, but can be an irritant. Yeah. Cyborgs Less Slot said you could put a sheet of styrene behind the window, like a clear. Yeah. I mean, I kind of enjoy the fact that it should be closed off, or build a little. What's a little bod? Cyborg Sloth. Back the foil with black paper, then no painting and still looks as good. Yeah. I kind of like the idea that you can see inside it, though. But maybe it's silly. Sorry. Whoops. I need this mesh to be more broken. There we are. That's better. Yeah, but I kind of like the fact that there's nothing like stuck right next behind it. I don't know. Build a little box, yeah. Martin wonders, why does Marmite taste so good? Is that where we're up to now in sort of the extent of the chat activity is like, why does Marmite taste so good? I can tell you why Marmite tastes so good is because Marmite used to be beer. Kind of. That's why Marmite tastes so good. Bill says, build a full diorama inside of them. Jeez. Yeah, well, that's actually exactly kind of where my mind was going, was a bit like, well, I could, if you can see inside of them, then maybe there could be something inside, like little furniture or a bed. And that's why that's one of the reasons why my terrain is still up on a shelf, only sort of lots of half finished buildings. That's the reason. It's because I that's what I'm constantly thinking is, wait a minute, I could just put stuff inside and make it look like a little diorama that I'm going to have on my table when I play games. And yeah, it would be nice though. The thing is, when you play the game, you're not going to look inside the house. You might, if you could go inside the house, but this is not that kind of a house. This is a closed house. I can't get into my glue. Doesn't want to come out. Tiziano says I could put corpses in there. Exactly. That's the stuff I'm thinking, like a bed with a corpse on. And yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to super glue this on, and then I'm not going to, we've got another 6 minutes. But it would be a thing, some corpses inside of the houses. Be tricky to change them then, though, depending on if they're going to be sci-fi corpses or if they're going to be fantasy corpses. I've pretty much only been using white glue with my MDF terrain. Sometimes I've been using super glue, just like if I was impatient and I was going to glue these bits together that don't even, that's how they fit. Then maybe I could put a dotted super glue there and a dotted super glue there, and then like white glue in the middle, and but most of the time I haven't been impatient. So, but look, isn't that's more fun, Yeah, good job, Alex. It only took you 2 hours to get there. Phil says no diorama. Okay, Phil, no diorama, but like a closed blind, something. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I could put it. Yeah, I don't know, or I just spray them black. Cyborsless says you could also print out a photo of an interior and glue it in with a curve. Now you're talking. That's pretty intelligent. I'm probably just going to spray paint them black. That's where the banana is, inside the half-built terrain. Yeah, that's right, Phil. Neil says naked corpses fit both genres. Yeah, true. As long as it's not like aliens. We don't get to see enough naked aliens, though. So, apart from that, yeah. I'm sorry, not going to say that. The end says, has anyone on YouTube done a tutorial for glowing lights peeking through curtains? In the miniature terrain, and these are supposed to be the simple houses. And Bill says, "Oh, so you're into them naked alien books?" Yeah, well, that's when you're deeply into sci-fi, is when even your naked books are filled with aliens. The xenomorph is naked. I mean, usually they are kind of the ones with the big heads, and and the ones with the oh no, not again. They're naked, true. But I've never seen one of them sleep in a bed inside of, they're only as naked as a dog or a cat is naked. Yeah, or a human, in theory. We're just a bit more conservative on that part. about the conservative part. Oh no, not again! Looking at my stomach every time I eat too much beef. Yeah, which one's that? Is that Space Helmets, or is it? I can't remember what movie that is. We all know, not again. Okay, folks, it's been a lovely, bit more of a relaxed Sunday stream today. I hope the weekend has been nice for those of you that have been into the whole Warhammer thing. I hope you've had been getting fun new releases. We haven't even talked about the squat miners and that. But I hope you've had a good time. It's been great to have another chat. Hopefully, I get to see you again in another 2 weeks. But you know, who knows? Maybe the banana explodes and I get box shrapnel. You know, so and yeah, life is full of hazardous moments. And on that note, keep safe and have a pleasant Sunday wherever you are. Bye.